So today we're going to talk about how long is okay to leave your Chihuahua at home. So that's whether you're at home during the day or whether you're at home during the evening. Now, this was a discussion in our Positive Chihuahua training group that did actually get quite heated with some very passionate points of view. So I thought I would address it in this video. And I'm not going to lie, it's probably going to annoy some people, but I'm not going to apologize for that. Now, Chihuahuas are dogs like any other dog, and the same rules apply to them. You should not leave a dog alone for more than 4 hours. Now, there are going to be the odd exception to that. You might need to go to a wedding. You might need to do something where you're out all day. So in those instances, then you make arrangements for someone to come into them. But on a daily basis, a Chihuahua should really not be left for more than 4 hours in any one time frame. Now, I think sometimes there's an argument, or people have this: Chihuahuas are small, they don't need huge amounts of exercise, so therefore they can be left longer. But that is not the case. Chihuahuas are the same as any other dog. They are sentient beings, and they have a set of basic needs that you, as an owner, when you take a dog on, need to be able to meet. So when you get a dog, it doesn't matter whether it's a Great Dane, a German Shepherd, or a Chihuahua, you need to ask yourselves these basic questions. Does my current lifestyle mean I can meet the dog's basic needs? Now, by basic needs, I mean for company, for enrichment, for training, for decent food, and for exercise. And if you can't meet those basic needs in your daily schedule, then it's just might not be the right time for you to get a dog. It just might be something that you have to come back to a little bit later in your life, or when your circumstances change. So we don't get a dog and try and squeeze it into our routine. In fact, we do the exact opposite. We have to ask ourselves, does our routine support getting the dog? And if, in all honesty, the answer to that is no, then again, it's just something that you might have to revisit later on. Nobody has the right to have a dog. No one says, I'm going to have a dog regardless of whether I can take care of its basic needs or not, and I'm going to force that dog to fit into our daily routine. So one of the thought processes that came through fairly strongly in the discussion was, I go to work so I can pay for things for my dog, so I can give it the best of everything. Now, while I kind of understand that as an argument, that's not what your dog needs, okay? Yes, of course, it needs good food. Yes, of course, you need to be able to cover your vet bills. But what your dog doesn't need is sparkly collars, outfits, an Instagram profile. What it needs is attention. It needs enrichment. It needs training. So these are what you actually need to really be able to provide for your dog, rather than all the frippery and sparkly things that people seem to think is an essential part of owning a Chihuahua. Another discussion point that came up was, should I have more than one dog? So if I have another dog, will it keep the other dog company? Well, yes, probably it will keep the dog company. But again, that is not the answer. The answer is, can you meet your dog's basic needs, all the things that it needs in order to thrive? If you can't, then it's not the right time for you to have a dog. And getting another dog and putting it in the same situation just means you have two dogs who are not having their basic needs met. So when you look at your situation, if you look into your heart and you answer the question, is my dog being left too long during the day, and you're answering yes, what can you do about it? How can you resolve the situation? Now, it's important to look at the situation from your dog's point of view, not yours. Not, my dogs are left alone all day and I come back and play with them for a couple of hours in the evening and I don't get any behavior issues. That's not how we're meant to be looking at this. We're looking at it from your dog's point of view. Are they living a life which is going to help them thrive? So what can you do to facilitate this a little bit more for your dog? Now, obviously, there are dog walkers. So you could arrange for someone to take your dog out for a walk during the day. In the UK, we have a service that, and I'm not advocating for these people because I don't know anything about them, called Borrow My Doggy, where people who don't have a dog, or it's not the right time in their life to have a dog, or they can't afford a dog, they will come in and they will either take your dog out for a walk, or they'll play with your dog in the back garden and spend some time with it. So those are opportunities for you to change your dog's long daily routine. Another one, possibly, and one of the best ones, I think, is, do you have a relative or a friend or a neighbor that can come in and or that can dog sit, so you can drop them off at their house on your way to work or whatever it is you're doing, so that the dog again is getting some company, is getting some enrichment, and is getting the relevant amount of exercise. Now, one thing I will say is avoid daycare. I've never been a fan of daycare. Every behavior thing consult I've ever done where the dog has got behavior problems, if they're in daycare, that's where they're starting. Okay. Daycares generally, I mean, I'm sure the people that run them are lovely, but quite often, unless they're extremely well run, they are just a big free for all, which can just lead to lots of over arousal. And because Chihuahuas find larger dog breeds worrying and creating anxiety, you could be causing yourself some additional behavior problems there. So that's it, really. A dog isn't, it's not okay to leave your Chihuahua for hours all day, get them out for a couple of hours in the evening, put them back in their pen, and repeat, repeat, repeat. A dog needs to have a life in which they can thrive and in which their owners have time to spend on them. So now I understand that that's a message that some people aren't going to like, and I'm expecting to get some hate, but there it is. So if you did find this video useful, please press like, and as ever, please subscribe to our channel, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Bye bye.